Hey, track, what up? Drive by those and that's all right. Tell ya hold on, come over. Coming straight up that motor.
It may certainly come as a shock to anyone watching my videos or reading my articles, but my strength as a planner is actually presenting information. It's a very important skill for planners in my opinion, as a large part of our jobs is to go in front of the public or councils and convince them of what we are planning. It's a skill I've been developing in lockstep with a thick skin since my days in architecture school while presenting my objectively poor designs to my classmates and professors on a weekly basis. If I were to write an autobiography, that chapter of my life would for sure be titled Convincing Others I Know What I'm Doing. Since moving to Edmonton and going to council on both the municipal and private sector sides, I've managed to parlay my presentation skills into a perfect 18-0 record at public hearings, meaning I have yet to go to council and get an application refused, even though, again objectively, some were very contentious and could have gone either way. If planning was boxing, that kind of record would get me a shot at the title and a chance to wear a cool belt around. Although planning isn't physical like boxing, and there are fewer belts and less fame to be won, public hearings are a verbal battle where both sides of the debate argue over whether or not an application should be approved. The council act as judges. Okay, never mind in the boxing, it's actually debate club. Anyways, now that I've established that I'm both qualified and humble, I'm going to explain my strategies for winning that debate at public hearings, no matter which side of the argument you're on. The first strategy is to familiarize yourself with the procedure. So every council experience is different, from the venue to the format. Even where to stand, for example, is a good thing to know before going in. In Edmonton, you stand at a podium at the front of the room. In Beaumont, you sit at a table at the front of the room. And in St. Albert, you stand at the back of the room, high up above council. Shout out to symbolic architecture and Douglas Cardinal. Knowing where to stand may seem pretty trivial, but knowing the procedure before arriving to give your presentation makes you feel prepared and can remove some of the public speaking anxiety. Most municipalities either televise or record public hearings in some way and post them to their website. So what I normally do on lonely Saturday nights before a public hearing in a municipality I haven't been to yet is go through some of those old videos to get a grasp on the process and how they run it. In Alberta, the process is generally laid out in the MGA. First, administration presents the application to be debated, generally only presenting the facts and doing it in a very monotone voice. Second, a representative from the applicant presents their case. And finally, the public are invited to speak. First, those in favor, then those opposed, and then those simply seeking more information on the application. Following the three parties stating their cases, council debates and makes a final decision on the application. Council can always ask questions to anyone that presented, so be prepared to be called back up after your presentation for further questioning. The second strategy is to familiarize yourself with your audience, so knowing who you're talking to and presenting accordingly is a huge advantage when at a public hearing. Lucky for you, councillors' agendas are often found by simply searching on the municipality's website. This will help you see the important topics to cover, the buzzwords to hit, and how to tailor your presentation to your audience, which in this case is the council. What I also normally do is comb through the minutes of old public hearings to see how councillors tend to vote. Man, I've got some empty weekends. Anyways, maybe some of the councillors tend to vote against parking reductions or have a soft spot for trees or housing for families or children. Whatever their cause may be, you can find it and tailor your presentation accordingly by including key points that resonate with each councillor. Going through the municipality's policy documents is also a good idea. So finding policies in places like the Municipal Development Plan or any higher level documents outlining the strategic initiatives for the municipality can help augment your presentation. Plus, these high level policies are often so vague that they can be argued either way, so using a municipality's policy against them in a debate shows a level of sophistication that council will appreciate. The third strategy is to look prepared. So now that you've familiarized yourself with both your audience and the procedure, it's time to look the part. Dress sharp however you can and have your presentation prepared. There's usually only a 5-minute time limit to speak at public hearings, so preparation is key to make sure that you are concise and get everything you want to say across cleanly. Reading a speech is fine, although in my opinion it comes off a little less genuine unless it's well rehearsed, but it is certainly better than winging it and going off on a tangent about your cat and using up all your allotted time without saying everything you wanted to. Knowing how to address council can make you look the part of an experienced professional as well, so when speaking to council, I was always taught to speak through the mayor. The mayor is referred to as your worship, and when addressing a specific councillor, always do it through the mayor by saying, "Through your worship to Councillor X." It'll make you come off as polite and professional and will for sure make you feel and sound like you're in the 1600s, but the formality of it makes you look like you know what you're doing. The last strategy I have is to remember to stay on message. Like I mentioned earlier, no matter how confident a public speaker, the process of the public hearing can be overwhelming, especially if it's your first time. This can lead to some people bringing personal feelings directly into their presentation, and it's usually those that try to wing it. It's often a really bad look when attacking the municipality or opposition at the debate table personally, so don't use the opportunity and the forum to complain about your taxes or a lack of snow clearing this past winter when your real issue is with the height of the proposed development going up next door to you. One thing I try to do when I know something will be contentious at council is to bring extra proof other than what's in the application and the report. So if I'm up there talking about a development that proposes to reduce parking, for example, I'll personally go to the site and document if there's any parking issues in the area a couple days leading up to the public hearing. Bringing that proof to the public hearing, whether in photo or report format, really strengthens your case. Knowing what intangibles to stay away from can make your presentation extra strong. So things like whether a proposed development will be rental units or condos is irrelevant to council, and arguing about appearance or density are touchy subjects because densification is a goal for most municipalities right now, and beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. So my advice is to stick to the other more tangible regulations, things like setbacks, parking, height, landscaping, when you're making your other arguments. Finally, compromising by offering some solutions instead of just whining about all that is wrong with the proposal goes a long, long way with council. So there you go. You're ready to go to a public hearing and become an undefeated beast like me. So just remember the 4 tips. Familiarize yourself with both the procedure and the audience, look prepared, and stay on message. You're ready. This has been Ryan with Heinz Consulting. Thanks for watching.